Why, Tortoise has a cracked shell. Long, long ago, before your grandmother's grandmother was born, when the world was still young and the animals could talk, Tortoise's shell was smooth as river stone. It was shiny. It was beautiful. It was the pride of the forest. In those days when the moon was round and the stars crowded together like children at story time, the animals would gather in the clearing to dance, to sing, and to boast. And among all the boasters, no one boasted louder than Tortoise. If you had seen him then, you would not recognize him now. His shell was not cracked. His back was not rough. He moved slowly, yes, but his tongue was fast, and his mind was even faster. He was small, but inside his small body lived a big hunger for food, for praise, for clever tricks. Tortoise loved 3 things more than anything else. He loved sweet palm wine, he loved rich food, and he loved outsmarting everyone around him. In that same forest lived the other animals: proud antelope, strong elephant, restless monkey, wise goat, and the birds who could fly so high their wings almost touched the sky village. Yes, the sky village. In those days, people say, the sky was not empty. High above the clouds, there was a village in the heavens where the sky people lived. They cooked the most delicious food anyone had ever tasted. When the wind blew just right, the smell of their stews and roasted meat would float down through the clouds and into the forest below. One dry season, when food in the forest was scarce and the animals were growing thin, that smell came again, richer and stronger than before. The wind carried it low and heavy, like a secret. The birds gathered first, wings fluttering. "Have you heard?" Sparrow chirped. "Heard what?" asked Parrot, puffing his feathers. "The sky people are having a great feast," said Weaverbird. "A feast for all who can reach their village." The birds' eyes grew big, their beaks watered. As they were speaking, a small head slowly poked out from behind a tree trunk. A pair of bright eyes watched the birds. Then a smooth shell appeared, shining in the fading light. It was Tortoise. He had been resting under the tree, dreaming of food, when the smell from the sky floated down. It woke him up. Now he listened with all his ears. A feast in the sky for all who can reach. "Good friends," Tortoise called out, moving closer with his slow steps and his faster smile. "Did you say there will be a feast in the sky?" The birds turned to look at him. Some frowned. Tortoise was known in the forest, known for his tricks, known for eating more than his share. "Yes," Eagle said slowly, "there will be a feast, but it is for those who can fly." "And that," added Sparrow, "is not you." The other birds laughed. Tortoise did not laugh. He bowed his head politely, but behind his eyes his mind was racing. "My dear bird friends," Tortoise said, smoothing his shiny shell, "you know I am small. You know I am slow. I cannot fly like you. Ah, but is that how you will leave your neighbor behind when there is food to be eaten?" Parrot clicked his beak. "Neighbor, the last time we shared food with you, you ate more than everyone else and said your portion was just every dance. And," added Dove softly, "you are not exactly known for kindness." Tortoise sighed deeply, as if hurt. "Ah, my friends, my enemies have spoiled my name. But I have changed. Truly, I have changed. Hunger has taught me humility." Some of the birds looked doubtful. "What do you want, Tortoise?" Eagle asked. Tortoise's eyes gleamed. "I want to go with you to the feast." The birds burst out laughing. "Go with us? How?" Monkey, who had climbed down from a tree to listen, almost fell over. "Will you grow wings from that shiny back?" Tortoise waited for the laughter to die down. Then he spoke again, more softly. "I may not have wings," he said, "but I have wisdom. You have feathers." He turned to Sparrow. "You have feathers." He pointed at Parrot. You have feathers." He looked at all of them together. "If each of you gives me just a feather or two, I could have wings strong enough to fly." The birds murmured. "He will just cause trouble," said one. "He will disgrace us in the sky," said another. "Ah, but remember," said Dove gently, "we are all neighbours in this forest. Can we enjoy a feast while our brother stays hungry?" Dove's words cooled their anger. Eagle nodded. "Very well. Each of us will give him some feathers." So Sparrow plucked a feather. Parrot plucked 2. Dove, kind as ever, gave 3. Weaver bird, sunbird, hornbill, they all gave what they could. Tortoise's shell was soon covered in feathers of every colour. When they were done, Tortoise looked at himself and smiled. He looked fine, fine enough to admire himself in a puddle. "Now remember," Eagle said, "this feast is for all of us. We fly together, we eat together, we return together. No tricks." "No tricks," Tortoise promised, placing a hand over his chest. "On my smooth shell, I swear." If you know Tortoise, you already know that a promise from his mouth is like smoke from a fire. It rises, it curls, and then it disappears. The birds flapped their wings. Tortoise flapped his new feathered ones. With a running start, he did something no one had ever seen him do. He lifted off the ground. Up, up, up they all flew, the birds. And one strange feathered tortoise. The forest shrank below them. Rivers became thin silver lines. Trees became little green dots. Higher and higher they flew until the clouds surrounded them like white cotton. The smell of the feast grew stronger. Spices, smoke, stew. At last the sky village appeared. Shining houses made of light and cloud. Wide courtyards and long tables already set for the feast. The sky people were dressed in garments that shimmered. They smiled and clapped as the visitors arrived. "Welcome," they said. "Guests from the earth, you are all invited. Come, sit. The food will soon be ready." Before anyone else could open his beak, Tortoise stepped forward, smoothed his wings, and bowed. "Sky people," he said in his sweetest voice, "we greet you, we thank you, we honor you." The sky people smiled. "Pleased, and tell us," one of them asked, "who is the leader of your group?" The birds paused. They looked at Eagle, their chief. He was about to step forward when Tortoise jumped in front of him. "I am," he said confidently. "My name is all of you." The birds gasped. Eagle's feathers bristled. But the sky people only nodded, accepting this strange name. "Ah, all of you," they said. "Welcome. We are honored to receive you." They led Tortoise and the birds to a large courtyard where a long table stretched farther than Tortoise's eyes could see. Bowls and plates and pots lined the table, hot and steaming. When all the food was ready, the sky people said politely, "This feast is for you, our guests. It is for all of you." Tortoise smiled. He turned to the birds with innocent eyes. "Did you hear that?" he said. "They said the feast is for all of you. That is me. That is my name. This feast is mine." Before the birds could protest, Tortoise took a large wooden spoon and began to eat. He ate the rice, he ate the yam, he drank the soups, he gnawed the meat. Whenever a bird tried to reach for food, Tortoise slapped their hand away with the spoon. Ah, he would say, "Are you all of you? No, you are sparrow, you are parrot, you are eagle. The food is for all of you, and that is me." The sky people did not understand the trick. They thought surely the food was enough for everyone. They did not see how Tortoise always chose the largest portions, always pulled the plates closer to himself. The birds grew angrier and hungrier. Sparrow's stomach sang a sorrowful song. Parrot's eyes dimmed. Even Eagle felt weak. Tortoise, meanwhile, grew round and satisfied. Oil shone on his mouth. He even belched loudly. At last, The feast came to an end. The bowls were empty. The pots were scraped. The sky people thanked their guests again. "We hope all of you and your companions have eaten well," they said. "Oh, I have," Tortoise replied, patting his stomach. The birds said nothing. Their eyes were hard. Then Eagle spoke, his voice quiet. "It is time to return home." They went outside. The earth lay far, far below. The clouds drifted softly between. The wind blew cool and thin. The birds gathered together, just out of Tortoise's hearing. "This trickster has used us," Eagle said. "We gave him our feathers. We brought him to the feast, and he repaid us with greed." "We should leave him here," muttered Sparrow. Parrot shook his head. "No, the sky people have been kind to us. We will not cause trouble in their village, but when we reach the earth again, Tortoise must pay." Dove, who was kind but not foolish, nodded. Even the softest heart must learn where to be firm. They returned to Tortoise. "Brothers," Tortoise said happily, "what a feast! My wings are heavy with food, but I will still fly home with you. Let us go." Eagle's eyes shone with a dangerous light Tortoise did not see. "Of course," Eagle said smoothly, "but first let us adjust your feathers. We do not want them to fall off during the journey." One by one the birds came close. Sparrow tugged at a feather. "This one is loose," he said. Parrot plucked out another. "This one too." Weaver Bird removed 3 at once. "These are mine." Dove gently took back her soft white feathers. "You borrowed these," she said. "Now I am taking them home." On and on it went. Each bird retrieved the feathers it had given. Tortoise was too full and too surprised to stop them. In no time at all, his wings became thin, patchy, and then gone altogether. He stood there, naked in his smooth shell. "My feathers!" he cried. "How will I fly?" Eagle spread his wings, now full and strong again. "That," he said, "is your problem. When you were eating alone, did you think of us? When you claimed the feast, did you remember the ones who helped you reach it?" The birds turned their backs on Tortoise. One by one they leapt into the air and flew off, leaving him behind in the sky village. Tortoise watched them go, his heart pounding with fear. The earth below looked very far away. He tried to flap his arms. Nothing happened. He tried to jump. His heavy, full stomach pulled him back down. At last he went to the edge of the sky village and looked over. Down, down, down. So far that the trees were like grass. So far that the rivers were no wider than strings. Tortoise gulped. "How will I get home?" he whispered. He thought for once his cleverness did not bring him comfort. Then an idea came. "Ah, my wife," Tortoise said. "She will help me." He leaned over the edge and shouted with all the strength in his belly. "Wife, wife, my dear wife, can you hear me?" Far below, in the forest, Tortoise's wife was sweeping the ground in front of their home. She heard a faint voice at first, no louder than the buzz of an insect. She stopped, listened, and heard it again. "Wife, wife, it is me." She squinted up at the bright sky. She could see only a tiny dot. "Is that you, husband?" she called. "Yes," came the voice. "It is I, your husband Tortoise. I am in the sky village." "In the sky?" she cried. "What are you doing there?" "Ah, no time to explain," Tortoise shouted. "Listen carefully. Go to the storehouse. Gather all the soft things. Mats, cloths, blankets, leaves. Make a great heap of them in the clearing. When you are done, call up to me. Then I will jump and I will land safely." Tortoise's wife was a good woman. She did not know what trick had taken her husband to the sky, but she trusted that he needed help. She ran to the storehouse. She carried out mats. She pulled out cloths. She gathered old blankets. Then she plucked soft leaves from banana and plantain trees. Soon she had made a great pile in the clearing, high and wide and soft. "Is it ready?" called a faint voice from above. "Yes," she shouted, "I have made a soft bed for you. Jump carefully." Tortoise took a deep breath. He looked down one last time. The world tilted. But what choice did he have? He closed his eyes, said a quick prayer, and leapt. Down he fell. He fell past a drifting cloud. He fell past a surprised flock of birds. He fell so long that he had time to regret every lie he had ever told. "Ah, I will surely die," Tortoise thought as the earth rushed up to meet him. Now, if Tortoise's wife had placed her soft pile in the very center of the clearing, our story might have ended differently. But as she was arranging the mats and leaves, someone called her name from the far side of the forest. She turned her head for a moment. In that small moment, a goat wandered into the clearing, sniffing around for something to eat. Goat saw the pile of soft leaves and mats and thought, "What a fine place to scratch my back." He pushed against the pile. He climbed halfway up and wriggled with delight. Little by little, he moved the heap to one side. Above, Tortoise did not know any of this. His eyes were squeezed shut. He was still falling. He fell and fell until crack! He landed not on the soft pile, but on the hard, bare ground beside it. The sound echoed through the forest. Birds took off from trees. Monkeys leaped away. Even elephants stumbled, thinking the sky itself had broken. Tortoise lay there, stunned. His smooth shell had shattered into many pieces, big and small. Pain shot through his body. For a moment he could not move. Tortoise's wife ran to him, crying out, "My husband, my husband!" She knelt beside him, picking up the broken pieces of his shell with shaking hands. "What happened?" she whispered. Tortoise groaned. He wanted to say, "It was the birds." He wanted to say, "It was the sky people." He wanted to say, "It was bad luck." But somewhere deep inside, under the pain and the pride, a small voice said, "It was you." His own greed, his own selfishness, his own lies had carried him up and thrown him down. Tortoise's wife was not a healer, but she was patient. She took the broken pieces of his shell and, one by one, pressed them back into place. Here, a big piece. There, a small one. This one did not fit quite right, but she used it anyway. She held them in place with sap from the trees, sticky and strong. She wrapped him with strips of cloth until he looked like a bundle of firewood. Days passed. The sap dried. It held the pieces of shell together. Tortoise's wounds began to heal. The cloth wrappings came off. When at last Tortoise could stand again, he walked unsteadily to the river and looked at his reflection. What he saw made him suck in his breath. His shell was no longer smooth. It was no longer shiny. It was covered in lines and dents and cracks where the pieces had been joined together. He turned this way and that. The water showed him every angle. There was no mistake. His shell was changed forever. He felt shame burn in his chest. He remembered the feast. He remembered the birds' hungry faces. He remembered the sound of his own body hitting the ground. From that day, Tortoise learned to walk more quietly. He still loved food, of course. A tortoise is still a tortoise, but he learned that greed carries a heavy price, one that the back must bear for the heart's foolishness. As for the birds, they never again lent out their feathers. If anyone asked them to share their wings, they would say, "Have you not heard what happened to Tortoise?" Even today, if you watch Tortoise closely, you will see that he sometimes hides inside his shell when visitors come around. Perhaps he is thinking of that day in the Sky Village. Perhaps he fears that someone will ask him, "Tell us again, Tortoise, how did your shell become so cracked?" And if you ever see a tortoise shell, look carefully at it. You will see the same patterns, the same lines, the same joined together pieces. Each crack is a reminder that greed can shatter even the strongest armor. A reminder that cleverness without kindness is only another kind of foolishness. A reminder that no matter how high you rise on borrowed wings. You must one day return to the ground. The elders say, if you eat alone today, you will fall alone tomorrow. They say, the one who forgets the hands that lifted him will learn to measure the distance to the ground. So when someone shares with you, remember Tortoise. When someone helps you climb, remember Tortoise. When you sit at a table full of good things, remember Tortoise. Share. Give thanks. Do not let your hunger make your heart small. And that, my friend, is why Tortoise has a cracked shell. The story is finished. If it has entered your ears, may its lesson enter your heart. If you enjoyed the story, like the video, and be sure to subscribe for more African folk tales. Until the next video, be well.